Hey everyone's Jackel Wolf back in Chemical Exchange with another 5 minutes. That's how I did it. Now, if you've been following along, you know that we are working our way through the quest book. Last episode, we did the Start Here quest, the 16 Carbon quest, the Coal Charcoal quest, and then we ended off with the Saplings quest. That is good because we're going to need to use these saplings that we got as a reward to get ourselves some resources. So this is a skyblock world, so you guys are probably very familiar with the old planting the sapling and then twerking it up to a full size. I'm actually stuck in the leaves here. So the last quest that we got rewarded us with a crook. If I go and left click on that, I actually broke the one right that I was standing in. If we break that crook, it increases the chance drop of a sapling or a fruit or something like that from the trees. What I want to do to make this a little bit easier is I'm going to use the Ore Excavation. You may have also heard of it as vein mining, but if you press the tilde key or the grave key on your keyboard, again, it may depend on your keyboard setup, but if you hold that down and then left click on what you want to break, it breaks everything that is connected to that block of the same block. So it didn't break any of the wood because I was focused on the leaves, but it broke all of those leaves just sort of in one go. It did eat up my crook a little bit, and it is pretty hard on your hunger, so keep an eye on those two things. They could make a big difference. But similar to that, we're going to go do the same thing with the wood. I don't have an axe yet. I don't have any wood yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab something that, doesn't have a something that's not going to wear out like this oak sapling. I'm going to hold down that tilde key, and then we're going to go break this wood in the same way using that Ore Excavation, and there we go. All those blocks broken at once. Super handy. I really love it. It is one of my favorite mods in pretty much all of the skyblock mods. So we're going to plant this here, and then we're going to come over and we're going to make ourselves a couple of tools. So first off, we're going to need ourselves a crafting table. Unfortunately, there is no tinkers in here. When we eventually get up to building stuff with the crafting table, I'm going to have to figure out a way to show off recipes. I really like tinkers for the ability to show off recipes. Sticks are, your standard Minecraft recipe. 2 planks in a crafting table will get you sticks. We're going to make ourselves an axe. Actually, let's make ourselves 2 axes to start. And we'll go 1, 2. And now the reason I making 2 of these is when your tool wears out, it will break. But this mod pack will take a similar tool in your in your inventory and replace it in your hotbar and as soon as it breaks. So that makes it really easy. If we want another wooden crook, basically it is 4 sticks in a crafting table in that reverse L shape will get you a crook. It actually, you can do this in pretty much any of the top L shapes, and there's a little bit of rain, but you can do that in the top L or the backwards or forwards upside down L in the crafting table. It gets you an extra wooden crook. And I do not have enough wood here to make shears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to twerk up a bunch of trees, and actually just as a demo, this might give us enough to break this wooden crook. So tilde. No, not quite. We're very close, but we got the axe here. We're going to go chop that tree. We'll do one more on camera here. Then I want to, just as a showcase of the wooden crook, of the tool being replaced. There you go. You heard it break, and then it's automatically replaced with that clean, unbroken tool. So that is good, and then I can immediately go and finish the rest of these guys off. I'm going to go and chop this wood down. And actually, one thing before we go, before I cut ahead, what we want to do is make ourselves, actually, I want to reserve some of this wood here. We want to make ourselves some shears as well, because that's another way to get resources out of trees. So let's make ourselves some sticks, and then 2 wood planks in the crafting table with 2 sticks, sort of in that cross pattern, will get you some wooden shears. So we're going to get 2 wooden shears as well. And while I'm here, I'm going to go and make another crook just to replace the one that just got broken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a whole bunch of resources like this, and then we're going to come back and we're going to start working on some of these other quests. Okay guys, so I am back, and I was really hoping that the rain was going to go away, and before I started recording again. I did grind a little bit longer than I wanted to. Something to keep in mind, I know I mentioned it before, your hunger bar will get low When you use the crook on leaves, there's that ghosty figure again. When you use the crook on leaves, you will get apples and other fruits as drops. So that's how I kept my hunger up. But if you check my inventory here, we had about a stack of wood, a stack and a little bit of saplings, but we ended up getting about 4 and a little bit stacks of leaves, using about an equal amount of wooden shears to the crook. Basically I went back and forth. There was 1 crook to 1 wooden shear. So I crooked 1 tree, I wooden sheared the next tree. I crooked 1 tree, then I wooden sheared the next tree. You can see we got a lot more resources. This is going to be important as we go along in the pack, because the more resources you have, the more elements you're going to get from that. So what I am talking about is going to be in this next quest here. So like I said, last episode we did the Sapling quest. Let's start with the 16 Cellulose Quest. So welcome to the backbone of the pack. The Transmutation Table lets you convert between all learned elements. Keep in mind that you can only transmute elements, and you have to put an element in the table to learn it before you can make it. Now we'll get into explaining what that is all talking about, but to get this quest we need 16 cellulose. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and make cellulose by using the chemical dissolver. Now before we go and do that, if I open up my inventory here, if I press U on this piece of oak wood and we go click on that chemical dissolver, we can see that putting oak wood into the chemical dissolver will result in cellulose 100% of the time. So one log will get me 1 cellulose, which is really, really good. It's a really, really good return. If we go and say these wood planks, we click the U on there, click on the chemical dissolver, we get the 1 cellulose from 1 wood plank 25% of the time. So it is a 1 in 4 drop. So basically breaking down wood into planks doesn't necessarily increase your chances of getting more cellulose. These are going to be a 1 for 1, and we're going to go test that here just in a second. If we click U on the oak sapling chemical dissolver, we see again it is a 1 oak sapling to 1 cellulose 25% of the time. Be careful, you make sure you keep some of these in reserve, because you don't want to, well, you can easily buy them again, that's not a problem, or make them as well. But last thing I want to show off here is the oak leaves. If we go click U on there and the chemical dissolver, you can see oak leaves again gets you 1 cellulose, but only 5% of the time. So it's a balance. What's going to get you the most resources? We were able to generate a lot more oak leaves than we were, say, oak saplings or even the wood. But is it going to give us, the same amount of drops? So I kind of wish we had a full stack of everything we could turn into it, but that'd be like a huge waste of resources at this point. And I don't think I've got enough power in here. Speaking of which, okay, I got a lot of power, but just as a test, we're going to take 1 oak wood, we're going to put it in there. There's our 1 cellulose. That is absolutely awesome. We're going to take 4 wood planks, which is equal to 1 oak wood. Click it in there. We got 2. So you know what? We got lucky on that one. I think over a large amount of ones, you might get a little bit lucky, though. I could have put that in there and got 0 as well. So we got lucky on that one. Okay, the oak sapling, we actually got 1 right there. That is good. Oak leaves, didn't get 1 on that drop. That was a 5% chance. So we can actually take a bunch of these here, and yeah, see, we got 1. A whole stack of leaves gave us 1 cellulose. We'll put that one in there. We'll see what we get from that. 1, 2, got 2 out of that one. And then up here, we're just eating up a lot of power there. Let's actually go throw another piece of charcoal in there. And we end up getting 2 from that. So as you can see, it is going to take a little bit of work. Probably the best thing for us to do right now, what is that? 9, we need 16. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. And we're going to go up there. There we go. There's our 7. There's our 16 cellulose quest complete. We're going to open that up. We'll click on that. Our reward is the Transmutation Table, 250 monies, iron in the shop, which is very, very important, and then the knowledge sharing book, which we'll get to in a little bit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take that Transmutation Table, we're going to go place it on the ground. This is going to be the thing that you use the most in this pack. So if you are familiar with the transmutation table and other packs, what you used to be able to do was take pretty much any item, put it in here, and it would give you a recipe, and it would give you a EMC, which is kind of like a value of materials. So you could put any material in there and then pull out a different material as long as you had learned it in here. Unfortunately, that does not work in the transmutation table. The only thing we can put in here is elements. So we've got some oxygen in there. We got some hydrogen in there. You can see they are learnt. So I put oxygen and hydrogen. I could pull this all out as hydrogen now. And you see I've got 16 hydrogen, nothing left in here because I've got 0 EMC. We're going to go put that back in there. We can pull it all out as oxygen. I got half as much oxygen as I got hydrogen just because of the value of materials. So we're going to put those back in there. You can see we're not losing any materials as we're pulling out and putting back in, but it's only of these elements that we can do. We can't take the cellulose. We can't put the cellulose in there because it's not a basic element. So before we end off this video, because it has been a little bit of a long one, what we are going to do is we're going to go get this iron, Fe iron, found in the shop. You'll definitely want to toss this into your transmutation table after buying it. So really all we've got to do is go open up our shop. There's our iron, 1,000 monies. We've got 1,020, but for now, let's go buy that one, and then we're going to go open up that transmutation table, and we're going to go throw that in there. And actually, we're going to throw that carbon in there as well. And there you go. We can pull out a whole bunch. We put one in, and actually it takes 96, so we don't have enough resources in here yet. But that's what we're going to get by breaking down all of these elements and then putting them into this transmutation table. So before I forget, let's go, we'll collect that 250 monies and then unlock silicone in the shop. That's something we'll have to look at next time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys found it useful. If you guys have a different way of doing this, make sure you put a comment down below. Let us know how you did this yourself. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please think about leaving a like and a subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at Jackel Wolf. Check out the description below. There will be a link to my Discord page. I would love it if you guys stop by to say hi. As well, there will be a link to my Patreon page. If you guys enjoy this series, if you guys enjoy my channel and you want to support, stop by, check it out. There are a lot of great perks there for all of my supporters. But that is it. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.